Corn is a cornerstone of the global food system, forming the backbone of diets and economies in countless countries. From the moment a seed is planted to the time it reaches our tables, corn's journey is a testament to human ingenuity and agricultural progress. It powers economies and feeds populations worldwide, providing not just sustenance but also livelihoods for millions of people. The scale of corn production and its impact on daily life is truly staggering. Every day, massive shipments connect farmers and consumers across continents, ensuring even countries that can't grow enough corn have access to this vital crop. This global network keeps supermarket shelves stocked and food affordable for billions. Corn is used for animal feed, fuel, and countless processed foods. Its trade is crucial for global food security. From breakfast cereals to renewable energy, corn's versatility touches nearly every aspect of modern life. The United States has long dominated the global corn market, supplying nations from Mexico to Japan and supporting millions of American jobs. Its vast farmlands and advanced infrastructure have made it a powerhouse in agricultural exports. The Made in the USA label has meant quality and reliability, making the U.S. the default supplier for decades. Buyers around the world have trusted American corn to deliver both quantity and consistency. But the global corn market is sensitive to weather, policy, and international relations. A drought or a new trade deal can shift supply chains overnight. Even a small disruption can ripple through the entire system, affecting prices and availability. Now, a major disruption is underway. Canada is emerging as a preferred supplier, challenging America's dominance. Canadian farmers are stepping up, offering high-quality corn and taking advantage of shifting market dynamics. This isn't a random fluctuation. It's a calculated shift by major importers, driven by pricing, trade policies, and reliability. Countries are rethinking their supply chains, seeking new partners and more stable sources. The shockwaves are being felt across American agriculture and have reached the highest levels of government. Farmers, policymakers, and industry leaders are scrambling to adapt to this new reality. The world's corn trade is being reshaped, and the consequences are just beginning to unfold. The decisions made today will influence food security and economic stability for years to come. Tonight we explore why buyers are looking north and what it means for the future of food. The story of corn is changing, and its impact will be felt around the globe. At first glance, American and Canadian corn look almost identical. Golden, plump, and full of promise. You might think there's little to separate them, especially when you see them side by side in the field or on the market shelf. Both countries grow mostly yellow dent varieties, prized for their versatility and high yield. These kernels are the backbone of everything from animal feed to processed foods, and both nations have mastered the art of growing them. The U.S. Corn Belt, stretching across the Midwest, has long set the global standard with its massive, highly efficient production. Its infrastructure, sprawling grain silos, advanced transportation networks, and cutting-edge technology, has made American corn a global staple for decades. Meanwhile, Canadian corn, once a smaller player, has rapidly expanded. Thanks to innovative farming techniques, new seed varieties, and a warming climate, Canada now produces corn with unique qualities, such as higher protein content and improved nutritional value, making it increasingly sought after. But today, the real difference between the two isn't just in the field, it's in the marketplace. Price and predictability have become the deciding factors for global buyers, and the gap is widening. U.S. corn prices have grown increasingly volatile, driven by shifting domestic policies, unpredictable subsidies, and ongoing trade disputes. This uncertainty has made American corn more expensive and less reliable for international buyers, who need stability to plan ahead. In contrast, Canada's stable trade environment, supported by consistent government policies and fewer tariffs, offers more competitive and predictable pricing. This reliability is a major draw for buyers around the world. Global buyers crave stability. They want contracts honored, shipments delivered on time, and no sudden policy changes that could disrupt their supply chains or bottom lines. Canada's active pursuit of free trade agreements, like the CPTPP, gives its exporters preferential access to key markets in Asia and beyond, opening doors that are increasingly closed to American corn. This certainty and openness are now lacking in many deals with the U.S., making Canada the more attractive and dependable partner for international corn buyers. In the end, the shift isn't just about the crop, it's about trust, stability, and the promise of a reliable partnership that goes beyond the kernel itself. Major food importers don't switch suppliers lightly. It's a strategic move based on risk, cost, and reliability. Today, buyers in Asia and Europe are signing more contracts with Canadian exporters, not because of quality concerns, but to avoid the unpredictability of U.S. trade. Recent U.S. trade disputes and tariffs have made American corn a risky bet, with prices that can spike overnight. Canada, by contrast, offers stable pricing and strong, rules-based trade relationships. Membership in trade pacts like the CPTPP and CETA gives Canadian corn a direct price advantage in key markets. Even a small tariff difference can mean millions in savings for large buyers. There's also a growing perception that U.S. supply chains could be disrupted by politics or export controls. Buyers are hedging their bets, splitting purchases between the U.S. and Canada to secure their supply chains. This isn't abandonment, but a deliberate reduction in U.S. dependence. The global corn market is diversifying and Canada is reaping the benefits. Global trade is shaped by tariffs and agreements, and right now, that framework is shifting fast. The rules that once governed who buys and sells what, and at what price, are being rewritten in real time, affecting every link in the supply chain. When the U.S. imposes tariffs, other countries retaliate, often targeting American agriculture first. These moves are rarely just about economics. They're also about sending a political message, and American farmers often find themselves caught in the crossfire. Retaliatory tariffs make U.S. corn instantly more expensive, pushing buyers to look elsewhere. Suddenly, what was once a reliable export becomes a risky, costly purchase for international buyers. China, for example, has slapped significant tariffs on American corn, making Canadian corn the obvious alternative. This shift isn't just about price, it's about reliability and long-term partnerships. Canada, meanwhile, has doubled down on multilateral free trade agreements like the CPTPP, giving its corn tariff-free access to major markets. These agreements open doors for Canadian farmers, making their products more attractive to global buyers. For buyers, it's simple economics. Canadian corn is just cheaper to import. Lower costs mean higher profits, and that's a powerful incentive in a competitive global market. The result? A fractured playing field. American and Canadian farmers grow similar crops, but face very different trade rules. This divide is reshaping the future of farming on both sides of the border. Canadian farmers now enjoy preferential access to a growing list of markets, while Americans face tariff walls. The advantage is clear, and it's changing the fortunes of entire rural communities. U.S. protectionism versus Canadian multilateralism is the key driver behind the shift north. The policies set in government offices ripple out to every farm and port. Millions of tons of corn that once sailed from U.S. ports now leave from Canada. This redirection is more than a statistic, it's a sign of changing global alliances. The new trade landscape is redrawing the map for North American agriculture. Farmers, exporters, and buyers are all adapting to a world where old certainties no longer apply. The world's buyers are voting with their contracts, choosing suppliers who can offer stability, affordability, and open access in a rapidly changing marketplace. Washington is watching this shift with alarm. President Trump, a vocal defender of American agriculture, has responded with fury, accusing Canada of unfair practices and threatening new tariffs. His administration frames the issue as a direct challenge to U.S. dominance, signaling a willingness to escalate the dispute. Behind the scenes, officials are scrambling to assess the economic impact and explore options to protect American farmers. The Department of Agriculture and U.S. Trade Representative are in urgent talks with Canadian counterparts. Yet many economists point out that U.S. tariffs and trade disputes created the very conditions that made Canadian corn more attractive. The administration faces a dilemma: how to fix a problem largely of its own making without abandoning its America First stance. The pressure to act is immense, especially from farming communities now feeling the pinch. The next moves from Washington could reshape the market or deepen the divide. For American farmers, this isn't just news, it's a direct threat to their way of life. Generations in the Midwest have built their lives around corn, but now access to key markets is slipping away. With buyers turning to Canada, U.S. corn prices are falling, squeezing farm incomes and making it harder to pay bills or invest in the future. Many farmers feel caught in a trade war they didn't start, but are paying the price for. While some appreciate President Trump's tough talk, others quietly worry that his policies are making things worse. There's growing concern that more tariffs will only push buyers further away. Farmers want support, but also need open markets and fair competition. They're torn between loyalty to a president who champions them and fear that his strategy is backfiring. The uncertainty is taking a toll on rural America. In Canada, the mood is optimistic. Farmers in Ontario, Quebec, and Manitoba are seeing record demand, higher prices, and planning for growth. Years of investment in infrastructure and research are paying off, as Canadian corn meets the needs of global buyers. The government's focus on free trade and reliability is now a winning strategy. The boom is creating jobs and spurring investment across rural Canada. Officials are cautious, aware of U.S. anger, but emphasize this is a market-driven shift. Diplomats are working to keep tensions in check, but for now, Canada is focused on solidifying its new position. The opportunity is historic, and Canadian agriculture is ready to seize it. The corn trade shift is rippling through both economies. In the U.S., reduced exports mean lighter rail loads, underused ports, and job losses across the supply chain. Surplus corn may lower feed and meat prices, but that's little comfort to struggling farmers and rural communities. The trade deficit grows as agriculture's export power wanes. In Canada, the story is the opposite. Booming exports, stronger rural economies, and new investment in equipment and logistics. The success is building a more resilient, diversified Canadian economy, but the divergence is straining U.S.-Canada relations. Canada must balance its gains with the risk of provoking a broader trade war. The challenge is to sustain growth without triggering retaliation that could hurt other sectors. The stakes are high for both nations. The corn market is now a flashpoint in North American trade. The future of the North American corn market hangs in the balance. President Trump faces pressure to act, possibly with new tariffs or trade actions against Canada. Escalation could further destabilize the market and cement buyers' shift away from the U.S.-America's reputation as a reliable supplier is at risk, making it harder to win back lost market share. Alternatively, the U.S. could rethink its trade strategy, rejoining agreements or negotiating new deals to level the playing field. Competing on reliability and access, not just price, may be the only way forward. Global buyers have learned the value of diversification and are unlikely to return to single-source dependence. Even if trade tensions ease, Canada's share of the market is likely permanent. American farmers now face a more competitive, uncertain landscape. The decisions made in Washington will shape the future of the world's food supply.